progress. Alright. The final, maybe final Spirit of Justice stream. We're on the final boss. It's not her final form yet, but she is sticking to very overpowered Tatsumaki and claw-based attacks. Really the most ridiculous thing to ever happen. I went back just before I started the stream and rewatched my reaction to her transformation sequence. I struggle to think of anything else in this series that has been that comically over the top, where the queen, like in a matter of a couple, so almost like Danganronpa 3 style, with the character who keeps changing into different cosplay every sentence. So at the end of last stream I said abandon the defense, and it turned out it was can I really abandon the defense? No, I can't. So I'll just pretend that I didn't do that at all. Hop in my time machine, come back, say, nice try, Garan. But it looks like you don't know what justice is made of. We won't kowtow to threats like that, Your Eminence. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but I can't back down now. I don't want to drag you into this, so... Don't worry. I'm with you, Apollo, to the bitter end if need be. And while I can't say I'm used to it, this isn't exactly my first rodeo. But if I'm found guilty, you'll get the death penalty too. Even knowing that, you still want to defend me? I don't know what happened in the past, but it looks like everyone in this country considers lawyers to be liars. So I can understand if you don't believe me. But I still believe in you and your innocence. So all I have to do is keep believing and find the truth. That's all there is to it. So keep on fighting, Apollo. You'll hear no objections from me. It's clever how he said that. You nincompoops. You'll die if you lose this case. Why would you even entertain the notion of continuing? I believe that Dirk is innocent, that's why. And besides, trials exist to give the truth a chance to get out into the open. You can't give up just because you're afraid of some punishment. Even if that punishment is death? Does that not frighten you, Hornhead? Who wouldn't be scared? I mean, just thinking about it. It makes me weak in the knees, to be honest. But as a lawyer, I have a duty to protect my client. I can't just abandon that. A duty you're willing to die for. And yet Duty. It's a heavy burden, all right. Rafa looks like she's really struggling. Your benevolence. As Crown Princess, you are destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy, and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein. I wonder if I am even up to the task. But it's no surprise, considering the torrent of painful truth she's had to face. And the torrent of dots which she is spitting out at us.
Very well, then. If the defense is prepared to face the death penalty under the Defense Culpability Act, then I see no reason not to continue with the proceedings. But I must admit I see no grounds for doubting the accused's guilt.
Unless the defense has further evidence that would indicate a different suspect. Do we have anything like that? Well, lawyer, do you have any new evidence you would care to present? Or shall I have the executioner start his preparations? If she thinks I can't do this, she's got another thing coming. first, I have some serious thinking to do. I'd say that new evidence indicating a different suspect does not exist. There's no reason for me to be playing this. We lose, game over. Of course I have some new evidence. Oh, do you now? How very interesting. Why doesn't she sound the least bit concerned? Could be because her power is absolute. No, I can't let her get to me. I just have to keep pressing forward. This new evidence points to a different suspect. I wonder if this is incorrect. If I was supposed to say there is no evidence, so that something else would happen? So what we had established just before this, around 2 p.m. No, this isn't it. Is it? The theory that we were going off of, which isn't quite... Not sure how I feel about it yet, is that Rafa saw the dog go and steal the hat from Nana. Nana ran into her father's house, or his apartment. It's time for more. Yes, the great terror queen of law. That is who I am up against. Welcome. We said, hey, Nana ran into the bedchambers. There was a scream. Her father came running out. He had already been stabbed, is what we're assuming. He shows up at the tomb and then dies. What was wrong with... It's not going to let me scroll back and see. We said that it could have happened that way because of the pain medication, that he could have... If he had taken that and if he was stabbed near the place where he normally injects it, he wouldn't have been able to feel that he was stabbed in the back, I guess, and that he was bleeding to death. We went, oh, there could have been someone inside the sarcophagus. The main thing that we had just established was, sometime around 2 p.m. or somewhere in that vague vicinity, she saw Nana with the dog with Nana's hat, and she stopped watching. She left the veranda to run down the stairs, and during that time, somebody could have entered or exited the Amara's tomb. That would seem to indicate that this photo does a little bit to point towards her being a possible suspect if she was in the tomb at 2 p.m. Nope. You would claim this evidence proves the existence of a different suspect. Wait, that wasn't the reaction I was expecting. Your Eminence, are you saying this piece of evidence doesn't do anything for you? It would appear to me that you chose that evidence at random. In the vain hope you would learn something from my reaction. Is that not correct? You've given everything away. I know where the poison is. What in the world could that be? Your Majesty. For shame. Sorry. Time to rethink that one. They brought me back to this decision. Damn. Okay, so I'm gonna say does not exist. Such evidence does not exist. Just as I thought. I was so hoping you'd present meaningless evidence and allow me to claim your head. Glad I didn't walk headfirst into that one. Good thing I had a time machine. So what now, Apollo? Well, unless we can prove that Nena killed Inga, this trial is over. So are we. Isn't there still a way to get the proof we need, even without evidence? You know, a key means of obtaining testimony here in Khura'in. Huh? Wait, are you actually suggesting... It certainly won't be easy, but it's worth a try. You want the divination seance. Your Majesty. A crucial step in uncovering the truth behind this case is yet to be taken in this trial, but I'm positive that I can back up our claim with this one step.
You mean you'll be able to prove that Nena killed Justice Minister Inga? And just how do you propose to do that?
With the help of a certain someone.
You need help?
From someone?
Well, I can't imagine who it could be. But I suppose I must ask. Whose help do you need to uncover the truth?
Take that!
But that is...
Me? Here in Khura'in, legal proceedings include the viewing of the victim's final moments, but that requires your benevolence's help. Such information is just as vital as any other piece of conclusive evidence. If you're right about this, Rafa's power should enabled her to see the very moment Nena stabbed Inga. What the Phoenix? Phoenix, have you been sitting too close to the incense? And did they put something in it? It's not going to show that. It's going to show him bleeding out in the tomb. It will be hard to watch your father's murder, but it's the only way to uncover the truth. Your benevolence, we need you and your power. You choose me? Wretched simpleton. Did you not see what ensued in the previous attempt? You would only succeed in wasting more time. Or is it your goal to make her collapse again? The princess said she was prepared earlier. Besides, it's her duty as a royal priestess. I'd say it's all up to her now. Am I prepared? Prepared to fulfill my duty? Isn't a divination seance required at all trials anyway? If so, I imagine there'd be a problem with handing down a verdict without one.
Indeed. It would be problematic. Under Khura'inese law, a seance must be conducted before a verdict can be rendered.
Insolence!
Yikes!
Must you try my patience so? If I must dispense with that vexing law, then dispense with it I shall. Huh? As ruling sovereign of Khura'in, I proclaim the following. Henceforth, the divination seance shall be optional. She has the power to do he is also not paying attention. She just rewrote the law with a flourish of her hand. Also a nail. Also red ink from somewhere. Mother, I do not wish for the trial to end like this. It is as the defense said, I must not neglect my duty simply because I am afraid. I shall go through with it this time. I will conduct the seance once more.
Insolence!
Rafa, do not be fooled by his lawyerly guile. You are not prepared to witness your father's death. But Hornhead needs my help. Congratulations, you are optional. Non-essential personnel, you can go home. Rafa, did you not tell me earlier? Did you not tell me you were prepared? But despite your grandiose posturing, you collapsed in a most piteous fashion. Even worse, you have erred in your insights of late. For has not the barbed one there overturned them more than once? Ooh. You cannot be trusted to keep your word, nor can you reveal the truth through your insights. So I say to you, begone! This sacred hall of justice has no need for such a worthless royal priestess. Worthless? Wow, how can she slap? So, Mother, you think me worthless?
Objection!
Her benevolence says she can do it, doesn't she? So I don't see why you have to condemn her before she's even made the attempt. Really drawing out them dots. Very well, horned devil. If you are really so bent on having a seance, I shall give my consent. Really? However, should Rafa fail once more, you two and the accused shall all be executed on the spot. Come again? This is proving to be far more entertaining than I had anticipated. Well, lawyer, what say you? Will you wager your life and call on Rafa to perform it? Go home and let her rest. She's a sleepy girl. Like, the fact that it says that I'll die if I get... I want to see. Rafa. You look like you could use a snack and a nap. Even if I say I believe in and want to call on her, the truth is, I really don't know her that well. Your benevolence, maybe you should go on home today. I'm sure you could use the rest. Sure about that? If we don't believe in her, who does she have left? You're right. Besides, without her, we'll never get the proof we need. Yeah. So, it would seem I truly am not needed here. I don't think you're worthless, your benevolence. Far from it, in fact. If you say you can do it, then I believe in you. Hornhead? I do not understand. If I fail, you will be put to death. I know you collapsed during your previous attempt. I can't even imagine how terrible it must have been for you. But despite that, you are willing to try again. I have faith in that conviction, in that courage. Even though I selected the menu option that said I did not have faith. My courage? Ah, so she was doomed to fail if she didn't have the courage to perform the seance. But it looks like she's got the determination to try again. Right. And that's a bet I'm willing to take because the game won't allow me to not take it. It's for they actually did put up the glow. Like, if you get this choice wrong, you'll lose all of your hearts. No, actually you won't. But it is as Mother said, I've erred in my insights as of late. Not only have I failed to reveal the truth, I've also contributed to false accusations. Knowing that, can you still say that you believe in me? I wouldn't take stock in those words, your benevolence. Despite what your mother says, I don't think you've made any errors at all. Huh? In the trials I've been a part of here in Khura'in, I would have never proven my client's innocence without your seances. Because even though they didn't always reflect the absolute truth, the insight they provided served as vital leads to finding the truth. Vital leads? My seances? So please, your benevolence, try to perform the divination seance one more time. Yes, courage, that's how the seance works. Just like I always suspected. Rafa, stop this madness. It is for your own good. You are ill-prepared to face your father's death. Go, leave this sacred hall at once. No. What did you say? I said no, Mother. For I am the royal priestess of Khura'in. I have no need for you now. Even if you do not need me, Mother, Hornhead and this Hall of Justice do. He proved that to me by risking his own life. It is because of him that I now understand. The divination seance is my sacred duty. Yeah, it's a Bayonetta and Phoenix Wright crossover. The divination seance is my sacred duty. I must fulfill it no matter the risk. Your benevolence. Mother taught me that the divination seance was a mirror reflecting naught but the truth, but I began to have my doubts after Barbed had disproved the insight it offered. And now, I don't even know who or what to trust anymore. Father, Mother, even Nana. I had believed in them above all others, but I finally know now. I know in what I can trust. Armpits? Oh, the royal priestess. The royal priestess must debate each seance with the presiding lawyer and prosecutor. So that it can be interpreted properly. That is how I believe trials here in Khura'in should function. Therefore, the Hall of Justice needs me. It is my power that leads trials toward the truth. That is my sacred duty, and I will never shirk from it again. That right there, Your Benevolence, is the product of what you've learned in your struggle so far. The truth that you realized with your own strength. As my sacred duty, I must ensure that it is fulfilled. I must have the courage and resolve to see it through. Your Eminence, the royal priestess says she will conduct the divination seance. I see no grounds for you to forbid it. Unless, of course, you are worried that it might reveal something you find inconvenient. Mother! I am done letting you have your way. Rafa. You would actually rebel against me, your mother and queen. Though I am scared to see my father's death. I must face my fear. That is what Hornhead has taught me here this day. Rafa.
I am the royal priestess Rafa Padma Khura'in. And I am prepared to face my father's death.
Your Eminence. It seems the princess is more grown up than you thought. Rafa.
Well then, let us proceed with the divination seance. Finally.
The victim's final moments. This should be interesting. I wonder what Inga's memories are going to show us.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped.
I always expect this part to auto-advance, but it doesn't.
Guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
I'm not sure how I feel about having to watch this dance sequence like so many times. Like, this is the 8th time, maybe? And it's just them playing the anime, you know. Unless something different happens this time. Unless, does she get superpowers? Does she turn into Yatagarasu during the dance? What an interesting divination you've done, Rafa. Judge, strike it from the record, guilty. Everyone's guilty. Yeah, there was, like, Faded was saying that yesterday, that the fact that she can just go, guilty verdict, it kind of does. The Damon Gant, the way that it happened with Gant was better done, I think. They were trying to do the same thing here, except supercharged. Hey, Garrett. Yes, not the full 5 hours late. And you haven't missed anything yet. The entire half hour that I've been streaming has been them saying, we think she should do the dance. She gonna do the dance? Well, she might do the dance. Oh, well, you know, does she have the courage to do the dance? I don't know if she has the courage to do the dance. Wait a minute. I have the courage to do the dance. Can she do it? Yes. No. Yes. But are you sure? No. Yes. Now she's finally doing it. It was... But we're finally doing it. We're finally seeing his final moments. Here we go. She did the dance. Incense. Grapes. Sour. Non-alcoholic. Incense. Footsteps. Incense. Man's voice. Pain. See? Prosopagnosia. All right. Ugh! What in the...
A faceless being?
What the heck? His face. It's just like... that picture of the founder. I think that's the last thing anyone other than Hiten Style expected to see. Ooh, Father, what was it? What was it you saw?
Are we to understand that this was the last thing the victim saw?
The reason we knew, or the reason I knew, that somebody would be faceless is because of this right here. We found his notepad. And the notepad, it says stuff like Nana, purple hat, glasses, diamond-shaped tattoo on forehead. Dirk, long hair, eye patch, blue clothes. Phoenix Wright, spiky hair, blue clothes, pink necktie. It's clear that he, I guess, had been keeping notes on what people looked like so that he would be able to identify them by their clothes and hair. Because he has prosopagnosia, or face blindness. Which means he is not able to, like most people can do, he's not able to just look at someone's face and recognize them. As long as no one ever changes their clothes. Correct. Yes, there can be no mistake. That was what my father himself witnessed. So that guarantee, we're really sure that the reason that this... you know, for meta reasons. The reason that this was done is because it's somebody else who knows that he has that disability and wanted to rig the seance or either they wanted to fool him, or they thought so far ahead that they wanted to rig the divination seance by dressing up like Dirk with the eye patch and the, you know, the clothes and everything. He would not do well in a nudist colony.
How very strange. You don't suppose the Holy Mother possessed the accursed and slew Minister Inga for planning a coup?
The divine wrath of the Holy Mother? Oh, Holy Mother, we are ever grateful for your blessings. Talk about a sharp left turn into the Twilight Zone. You know, there's one thing in there that caught my attention. I think that was actually wine and not grape juice. That laugh, who does it belong to and why are they laughing? Who knows? Though I suppose it could be Dirk after he slew my husband. Uh-huh. But that figure didn't even have a mouth. I think we're done here, lawyer. How so? You claimed that Minister Inga was stabbed in his private quarters, and, feeling no pain, he went to the tomb where he eventually fell dead. But this seance vision proves he was stabbed in the tomb and felt great pain, no less. Oh, that. Therefore, as I asserted all along, it was the accused who stabbed the minister in the tomb. Ack? Everything just backfired. Big time. That's right, he's just hanging out. He's just here for fun now. Wow. Khura'in has the devil's own luck, doesn't she? Now then, I shall give voice to the soul of the deceased. Listen well and heed these words. At around 3 p.m., my father was waiting in the tomb to make the hostage exchange. I didn't see any clocks. He was drinking grape juice while gazing upon the picture of the Holy Mother. He had been waiting vigilantly when suddenly he heard Dirk's voice. The next moment he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. My father tried to shoot his attacker, but he missed, and the attacker let out a laugh. No clocks, because he has clock face blindness. Makes sense. So now what, Mr. Wright? It's up to us to knock holes in Rafa's interpretations of Inga's memories. In other words, we need to prove that her understanding of them could be mistaken. Okay, I'll give it a try. Huh. Waiting in the tomb. So which of these is wrong based on senses that we see here? Yeah. They thoroughly hung a lampshade. 3 p.m. is simply too early to drink grape juice unless you're just a failure at life. Where they're like, grape juice? It's like, yes, Mr. Phoenix Wright used to drink grape juice a lot while he was recovering in the hospital. They're like, you sure it was just normal grape juice? Not something else? They're like, certainly not. They wouldn't allow anything alcoholic inside of a hospital. That would just be silly. He was stabbed in the back and collapsed. My father tried to... So things that I suspect. Man's voice could be his own voice. Footsteps could be his own footsteps. The explosion isn't necessarily the gunshot, and the laughter could be Inga laughing. But I don't know which insight I can contradict with these thoughts. It's gonna be like if he heard Dirk's voice, why didn't he turn around? Not to mention, why does he... no. It also doesn't look like he missed. I mean, he was pointing straight at him and then closed his eyes like just before he fired. There's so many tiny things. Like there must be a big inconsistency, and I'm not quite getting it. So I guess I'm gonna go with. I think maybe it's this. We're supposed to point out when her insights are wrong. Her statement that he heard Dirk's voice is not correct.
Objection!
Your benevolence, there seems to be an inconsistency in your interpretation. An inconsistency? Where? Minister Inga... Is that it? Minister Inga is far too relaxed for what was supposedly about to take place. When he heard the voice you claim is Dirk's, he didn't seem the least bit alarmed. He just kept looking at the picture of the founder. Ah. Alright, so I kind of said that. That's strange, right? He was waiting for Dirk to arrive with the founder's orb, but when he heard that voice, he didn't even turn to look. Don't you think he would have been worried about being attacked from behind? Ugh. Then whose voice was it? It was likely someone whose presence wouldn't have alarmed him. Someone like a friend. But there was no third party at the scene of the crime. Therefore, the voice could only have belonged to Dirk. The voice of a third party who wasn't there in the tomb. Apollo, don't we have something that could reveal the owner of the mystery voice? You know, I think we do. Something that Inga had while he was waiting for Dirk. With it, we just might be able to figure out whose voice it was. He had a warbod with him, and they mimic people. Did he have, like, a... gun? What did he have with him? Oh, hold on. Of course. Is that the only place the cell phone appears? I guess so.
Take that!
That's my father's. I know this must be hard for you, but could you please look at this photo? There's something here that can point us toward the identity of the voice. Eru sai konguru.
Take that!
Watashi da. A Galapagos phone? That's right. I believe the voice the minister heard was of a call on this cell phone.
I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. What is your eminence's view on the matter?
I concede the possibility. Then it seems I must refine my vision. It appears that the voice belonged to one of my father's subordinates. Why do you suppose he was talking to one of them then? My father had members of his secret police positioned throughout the palace. Yeah, fortunately we don't need a new dance every time she amends her testimony. They were supposed to contact him as soon as they saw Dirk and the rest of you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Your benevolence, I believe you have an insight to revise. I know, barbed head. Don't presume to tell me how to do my duty. So the voice was coming from the phone. That's good to know. But there might have been other sounds coming from the phone. Sounds that could be clues. Let's take another look at Rafa's insights and really focus on the various sensations. It's not helpful. The call was coming from inside the phone. Lions, what? None of that shit happened before. Wait, why does it sound different now that she thinks it's something else? That's never happened. Okay, Lion's Roar. That might actually be a warbod. And the dog's bark is because of Shadow. You listen? Lions roar, dogs bark, and brother, I pain people. I'm a force of nature. It was an MGM film about a dog. Lions roar, dogs bark. I like that. I like doing the Scout's accent. Brother, I hurt people. I mean, I guess, does that contradict that it was at the palace? If you heard a warbot, it must have been someone at the market.
Objection!
There are no lions at the palace. I hate to break it to you, Your Benevolence, but you misinterpreted something again. What do you mean? Again. Smooth move, Apollo. I think you just hurt her feelings. She may put on a brave face, but she feels more than she lets on. Let me rephrase that, Your Benevolence. Your interpretation of your father's phone call to his subordinate at the palace is inconsistent with his final memory. What do you mean by that? Excavius... Oh, it was old Yeller. A lion's roar could be heard over the phone. Don't you find that strange? You claimed the call was with someone at the palace. But let me ask you, do you keep lions there? No, the only animals at the palace are little birdies and my pet frog. Wait, the giant one in front of the minister's house is her pet? Besides, there aren't any lions in Khura'in. We don't even have any zoos. A rather sad state of affairs, I'm afraid. Well, I remember hearing a sound like that. The lion's roar coming from the phone is actually something hanging out in the market, the bazaar. You made a whoops. Let's call it a stenank. Isn't that the cry of the warbad over in the bazaar? Ah. Your Benevolence, do you think you can clarify the voice for me? Very well, that's how that works. I will now attempt to further refine my vision. What's this? Just as I suspected, it was the call of a warbad. I don't... Didn't she just do that? That means the subordinate Minister Inga was talking to was in the bazaar, not the palace. But why is it important where the call came from? What significance could it have? She's right. Is it important to know where the call was made from? I'm sure it's very important. It's actually very important. Knowing that the person on the other end was at the bazaar means that the loud explosion might not have been the sound of a gunshot. But oh right, it was Dots's stupid escape bombs. I can think of no other item that makes such a noise in the area. Go ahead, Apollo, tell her. Tell Ray for the real source of that sound. Will do. Tell him, Naigi. Well, Hornhead, I'm waiting. Is this it? Yes.
Take that!
Hey, Serp. So what's happened so far? Not very much. We spent an actual half hour of them going, you should do the divination seance. And her going, should I really? And going, yes, you should. And then her going, okay, I will. And then the judge saying, are you sure you want to? And then her saying, yes, I do want to. And then her mom saying, no, you're not allowed to. And her saying, but I want to. And her saying, well, I'm going to change the law to say that you don't have to. It's optional, but you don't have to. She's like, well, I still want to. And they're like, okay, but if you do, or if you try and you pass out again, then, like, they will be executed on the spot. She's like, oh, do I really still want to? And Apollo's like, yeah, you still should. That's basically 100% of what happened. And then we watched the thing, and just like I said, there's somebody there who looks like Dirk, but their face is blank. It's Albi Urgaide's statement. In it, he claims that Dats Arable threw a firecracker at him while he was at the bazaar. Then... Yes, the sound heard over the phone was a firecracker exploding.
Objection!
And yet, a bullet was found at the scene of the crime. A bullet fired from Minister Inga's gun. How do you explain that? Well, we don't know whether it was fired during the course of the crime, right? Or do you have evidence that proves when the pistol was discharged? The sooner we're all dead, the sooner we can play La Mulana. No, I have none. Wait a second. If that loud bang was a firecracker, then could that laugh at the end have been... No, it can't be. Oh, it can. And it is. The laugh came from none other than... the Joker who got a kick out of startling Albie with his dragon snot snaps. That happy-go-lucky That's Arbol. What? I still don't know why this is important. Someone should really put a leash on that guy. La Mulana. I don't know what to change any of the other lyrics to because I don't actually know anything about the game.
I shudder to think how one man can be the cause of so much trouble. Ha 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 ha! Hey there, AJ, PW, y'all can thank me later. No one asked for your commentary, Mr. Arbol. Your benevolence, do you need to revise your insight?
It would appear so. Smoking the motor run. Back in my time, Sharona. Well, this changes everything, except it kind of doesn't, because as far as everyone's concerned, we still see, Dirk at the scene of the crime as the apparent murderer. Let's go over the details of Rafa's insight again. Okay. I think I've got this down now. I think I finally don't need any more tutorial now that I'm at the final boss and she's charging her final attack.